Hey, I'm pro saxophonist Jamie Anderson, and you're watching Get Your Sax Together. On this week's show, I ask Jim Cheek at sax.co.uk to try and tempt me to the dark side and swap out my vintage Mark VI for a top-of-the-range modern horn. Let's see who comes out on top. Oh man, I just had the best day at sax.co.uk. If you don't know what that is, it is a treasure trove of saxophones, saxophone accessories, and everything to do with your favourite hobby, located in South London. It's an absolute mega store if you're a saxophonist. I went down there for the day and met up with Jim Cheek, who you'll probably recognise from their fantastic YouTube channel, which I shall link to in the description. I tried all sorts of instruments. In fact, I even put in my tenor just for Lewis in there to have a quick look with the leak light. And he mended my whole horn, which is absolutely unbelievable. Here's a quick clip of that. Okay, this is Lewis, hard at work at my slightly creaking tenor.
Just trying to get the worst of the leaks out of it. Yeah, I'm just heating them a bit and just pulling down the front of this pad a little where it's just not seating at the front and just at this side. And they're all just very minor things, but just trying to conform them a bit more to where they should be. I mean, and a bit of oil.
So many thanks to everybody at the shop for sorting out the old trusty Mark VI. Now, the big question was, could Jim tempt me with some top-of-the-range modern tenors to leave behind my Mark VI, my beloved 1974 Mark VI? And you're just about to find out exactly what happened in that showdown. But just before you do, if you haven't already checked it out, make sure you go and check out my famous 1-hour saxophone success masterclass, where you will instantly be able to improve your playing, transform your practice, and learn a whole load more cool stuff to do with saxophone. Just click the link that you can see there, or click the link in the description. Okay, now without further ado, let's see what happened when I went into the shop. Now, I was kind of slumming it a little bit because I had to travel light, so the sound, I just had a mic on the camera and stuff, so the sound is a little bit more echoey than you're used to when I film here in the studio. So don't judge me, just bear with me, but hope you enjoy the footage of Mark VI versus modern tenors. Welcome to the Aladdin's Cave of Saxophone, sax.co.uk in South London, and I'm here with my good friend Jim Cheek. Thanks for having me, Jim.
Yeah, you're more than welcome, Jamie.
Now, today we have got a challenge. This, in case you didn't know, is the AK-47 of saxophones, the Selmer Mark VI, fabled by every jazz musician from, well, John Coltrane, Wayne Shorter, you name it, and beyond, Mike Brecker, yeah. So I've always been a Mark VI guy. However, today, Jim is going to try and tempt me to the dark side, away from my Mark VI, and he's got 4 fantastic tenor saxophones to tempt me with. So what do you got first?
Yeah, so we've got 4 here. We've got a Selmer, a modern Selmer. So we have a Reference 36 here.
Reference 36, yeah.
Which actually refers to an instrument of the past. So that's the balanced action Selmer. We have Yamaha Custom Z here. This is the 82Z model.
Awesome.
Okay. A Yanigisawa, and this is the TWO20. This is the bronze model.
Awesome.
Right.
Looking forward to that.
Yes.
While Jim's getting this next one, I should tell you, I'm not a sax tinkerer. I never normally tinker around, so this is going to be really fascinating.
Yeah,
and then finally,
absolutely. We have the Signature Custom Raw XS.
All
which
right.
is an unlacquered, completely raw brass finish here.
Brilliant.
So yeah, I'm really excited to hear you playing on these.
Okay,
Jamie.
great. So first of all, let's get a bass line, and I'll just play my usual setup, which regular viewers will probably be quite accustomed to. So let's take a bass line, and you can get a general idea of what my Mark VI sounds like.
Should we just end the video there? That sounded great.
All right, so that's the Mark VI. And, you know, for the geeks amongst you, this is a 227,000 Mark VI, 1974, I think. Same year I was born. So very late, and it was actually when they started making Mark VIIs already. Yeah. So it's one of the latest Mark VIs. Quite free-blowing. Yeah. Not the greatest Mark VI I've ever tried, but the grass is always greener. So what you got from me then?
Shall we just go straight on to a Selmer then? Because it would be a sort of modern Selmer compared to the vintage one, obviously.
Selmer Shootout, love it.
Selmer Shootout. So, as mentioned, this is the reference 36.
Okie dokes. So what's it referencing?
So this is referencing the balanced action. So pre-Mark VI. There is a 54, which references, as you might guess, the Mark VI. So this is even earlier.
All right, fantastic.
Let's give this one a go.
I love that. Yeah? I really love that.
Okay.
Damn it, straight away.
What are your feelings then?
Well, it feels like mine, it feels as free-blowing as mine, which I was surprised about for a start. Mm. And as soon as I played it, it just went, really exploded with a nice big sound.
For me, it sounded really warm. It sounded like it had a real heart to it. Yeah. And for me, it didn't, it sounded great. But I could hear that you obviously used your Mark VI, and for me the Mark VI just kicked out a little bit more.
Right,
a little bit more kind of retained the sound, but in a very nice way. Yeah. But great to hear that you're sort of so personally responsive to it, you know, really enjoying it.
You might have heard the first octave C I played didn't come out the first try. So it's interesting where the overtones just sit subtly different on every sax. Yeah. But that's
it's a bit of a beast.
Nice. So £6,500, pretty good, comparable almost, isn't it, in price?
Yeah, it is actually. That's a very good point that you make.
Comparable price. I really like that one. Okay, what we got next? This is fun.
Do the Yamaha Custom Z.
All right, okay. This is the pause. That's not what I was expecting. Right. I was expecting the Yamahas to be more sort of a bit more blocky, efficient, workmanlike, but with less kind of spring and energy to about it. But that had a lot of projection and quite free blowing.
Yeah, immediately I could hear that kind of the modern sax thing where there was a real contemporary edge there. You know, really kind of coming through. It really worked for you nicely in those upper regions actually when you get the altissimo. The sound kind of came alive. It had that vibrancy up there.
Wow, this is really revealing. Not in a good way. All right, we've got one more left, have we?
We've got two, I think. That's
two left. Sorry, my bad. Two left. Has already got me thinking. That has. Okay. So what we got now?
This is the Signature Custom, and this finish is the raw XS. So it's kind of stripped down as you can. You know, no lacquer, untreated brass, and all the rest of it.
Right.
That sounds great, Jamie.
I really like that one as well.
It really suits you, actually.
Yeah.
It's the sound just comes alive with your natural tone on this particular sax.
So 3,359, so much cheaper.
Yeah, it's true.
Doesn't feel or sound cheaper.
This is, I mean, I won't go into too much detail right now, but this is an example of really good Taiwanese manufacturing, but with that the British sort of seal of approval, because the workshopping and all the rest of it is done in the UK. So, you know, you can get the price down compared to what you're seeing with the Paris Selmer, but just great value for money. And for me, that sounded amazing with you.
Yeah,
right
that really kicked. My word. All right, one more to go.
So here we have the Yanigisawa TWO20 bronze.
So I did try the Yanigisawa Alto earlier, which I really liked. It wasn't to my taste, but I loved it. So I'll be interested to try this one. That's interesting, because I tend to make up my mind quite quick.
Yeah.
And I instantly don't like that as much as the others.
I could
you
tell,
could probably
actually,
get that vibe.
I got it from the first few notes. I could tell that you were going.
Yeah, just like
you just weren't. It wasn't the sound for you, so you just thought through it a little bit.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just knew straight away. I was like, ooh,
yeah.
I'm not sure I really want to play that, but the others seem to just spring straight out the gate.
Yeah, and it's so personal because someone else could play it, and it's right there for them. But yeah, as you said, the others, and particularly for me, the Sig Custom, I think was that was the one that appealed to me listening to you right here.
So maybe what we should do is I'll play the Sig Custom one more time, and then we'll finish with my Mark VI,
How about
and
that?
I'll tell
Wrap
you if you've converted me. So that was really interesting, going back to the Mark VI after all that. Yeah. It does, how can I put it? Like, a lot of this is how it feels to you, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Not necessarily, to most people I'm sure in this video will say, oh, they all sound the same. Yeah. And that's the standard YouTube video model, isn't it? I'm going to try all these mouthpieces and you sound the same. But maybe it's just because I know it so well.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of power in knowing maybe not so much what horn you've got, but how well you know the horn that you've got.
Yeah, how to get the best out of it.
And there seemed to be just a little kind of sprinkle of fairy dust, magic, like X Factor there.
Yeah, I'm not going to deny it. I could hear that just standing next to you.
Yeah.
And I could, I could stand here all day and listen to you play that, because it fits you like a glove. It's so perfect. But in terms of the modern Saxes, I could tell that you were excited by some of them, and then obviously particularly the last one, which was the SIG Custom, and that really had lots of potential in it. It'd be interesting to sort of see where you'd be in, say, you know, a week, a month or whatever after trying it, and just how the sound has evolved after that period of time. Because I think it's got that potential for you. It's sort of matching up quite nicely to the Mark VI. Yeah. Just standing here a metre away from you.
So, which is pretty loud, I've got to tell you. Jim should have earplugs for this one. So, in answer to the question, am I tempted by the dark side? I'd have to say, yeah, I am. And, you know, if I walked out of this shop and a villain came along and stole this Mark VI and I'd never saw it again, which is what I've always been terrified of, I think I'd feel a bit more reassured that I could still get my sound on another sax.
A positive message to finish on.
So the SIG Custom, I really like the 36 as well.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I could have, So there you go. It's Mark VI versus the newbies, and the newbies are performing pretty damn well actually. So don't believe all the hype about Mark VIs. They are wonderful, wonderful instruments, but you don't need one to sound great. So thanks very much for having me, Jim.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure.
So, what did you think? Is it another one of these YouTube videos where every sax sounds the same? Just leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. But as you could tell from the video, I was definitely tempted. And, you know, the Selmer Reference 36 and the Signature Custom were fantastic horns that I really loved. Do make sure that you go to sax.co.uk's absolutely amazing website, or even better, go into their London store or one of their other brick and mortar stores if you have the opportunity. It's a real pilgrimage for sax players, and many thanks to Jamie and Jim and all the other staff for making me feel so welcome. It was just such a great day out. If you want to say thank you for videos like this, you can buy me a coffee using the link that you can see right down there. And you can also click the link in the description. There's a link there that you can use PayPal as well. And don't forget to check out the 1 hour saxophone success masterclass. Next week, we'll be going back to learning iconic sax hooks. And until then, practice hard, practice smart, and enjoy your music. See you later. I tend to make up my mind